Anthem, written by Ayn Rand, is about a dystopian society that has intentionally discarded nearly all knowledge they have acquired to eliminate a sense of individualism. It takes place in a city controlled by the larger World Council. People live in groups and daily life is dictated by the various councils. Equality 72521 was a rebel against the establishment. In a secret cave, Equality discovered electricity, but when Equality presented his discovery to the Council of Scholars, they condemned Equality. This forces him to escape with his love, Liberty 53000, to an ancient home. There, they discover a lost language and vow to use their new knowledge to build a society based on individual freedom. The theme is that collectivist societies don't work because they preclude people from tending to their own goals. Instead, the novel says we should promote individualism.
Fahrenheit 451, written by Ray Bradbury, also covers the dystopia, this time about a society set in the future also targeting a form of knowledge, books. The books were viewed as crude and traitorous as they defied reality. The protagonist, Guy Montag, was a fireman, whose job was to burn books due to the fireproofing of homes making fire rescue obsolete. On his way home from work one day, he meets Clarice, a bright and outgoing 17-year-old girl who is condescended by others due to her views. She begins to converse with Montag about ideas he never pondered, like happiness, love, and even books. Even though Montag ignores her questions, he couldn't get her out of his mind. He soon openly talks to her every day until she was killed in a car crash. One day, Montag and the other firemen are brought to an old lady's home, and Montag steals one of the books out of curiosity. Montag struggles to keep his book to himself, and one night, the firemen get called to his house. When he is put under arrest, he kills his fire chief, Beatty, to escape. He ends up uniting with a group of outcasts that preserved books by memorizing their contents and then destroying them. The men continue down the river and they watch as bombs fall upon the society as the final war began. They decide to turn back towards the city with Montag in the lead. One theme taken from Fahrenheit 451 is that technological advances have destructive potential in our society.
Anthem and Fahrenheit 451 have many similarities. Both of them take place in a dystopian society. Both societies were against knowledge. Both protagonists were against their government, and both protagonists had secrets they couldn't keep. But the deepest similarity is that they both share a common motif, light and dark. In Anthem, the protagonist portrays his society as dark, as seen in this quote. It is dark here. The flame of the candle stands still in the air. Meanwhile, when he discovers the light bulb, he says, "We brought it forth from the night of ages. We look upon the light which we had made." In this quote, he associates the light with the end of the dark ages. In Fahrenheit, darkness is associated with the society as well. They and the charcoal hair of the soot-covered brows and the bluish ash-smeared cheeks. In this quote, the firemen are described as the ones who destroy the knowledge. Light is mentioned when Clarice is introduced, perhaps because she is different and unique in her society. Her face, turned to him now, was fragile milk crystal with a soft, constant light in it. In both Anthem and Fahrenheit, light represents knowledge and hope, and darkness shows the status quo and both of the society's failure.
In Fahrenheit 451, sameness is promoted by the actions of the dystopia. Censorship has been taken to the extreme as all books discriminating with their abstract ideas between the residents of the society were destroyed. Knowledge instills societies with individualism, which inevitably brings distinction or discrimination along with it. This is the main reason why books with the slightest idea of distinction among others are destroyed.
In Anthem, the sense of individualism was pushed into a mass extinction, leaving no trace of its former presence. The mass removal of knowledge and exploration in the society was demonstrated by Equality 72521. The society hated knowledge and exploration because it could disrupt the order and balance within the society, as it promoted the sense of individualism. This sense was the exact opposite of what the dystopia desired. Like its intended real-life counterpart, communism relies on the absence of this sense of individualism to force people to stay within controlled boundaries instead of improving vastly independently. This is how Equality describes this void. We think that there are mysteries in the sky and under the water and in vast plants which grow, but the Council of Scholars has said that there are no mysteries, and the Council of Scholars knows all things.
Anthem presents issues that still hold a significant role in today's generations. China, Vietnam, and several other countries based their entire state around communism, which is what Ayn Rand targeted as an issue decades ago. Discrimination, as seen as Equality 72521, fell victim to it, and Anthem is still being performed everywhere in the world, especially during the American election that has happened only weeks ago.
Fahrenheit 451 presented issues that are starting to come true today, like the advancement of technology. In the book, people were constantly consuming media, which resulted in them having almost no real relationships or emotional connections, just like Montag and Mildred. This created the mindlessness we saw in people like Mildred. Today, our own society is experiencing an antisocial epidemic as we see people from 4 years old and up limiting their social interactions because of distractions on their mobile devices.